today.
What?
Laundry.
Oh, again?
I thought, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was my face. So I thought I finished all the laundry by doing.
Okay. Well, that's
3
your
hours.
first mistake. You're never finished.
No, but
Yeah.
I thought I was done like for the next couple of days or so. And then I go upstairs today, and Eliana has a pile of. She couldn't even open her door. She would go through the bathroom.
Oh.
That's great. So I carried about 5 more baskets of laundry downstairs from.
And the boys literally just brought huge baskets down.
Yeah. So I have
What
about
do they
7
do?
more loads.
How are they going through so many clothes?
But you know, one
Kids,
thing I
man.
do appreciate is that the wash machines here are much bigger than
Yes.
in Germany.
Yes. So
in
much
Germany,
bigger.
you can
They're
do
literally
like
like
a
this
quarter of that.
They're
that
so
would mean
small.
I would do laundry like
Oh,
every day,
yeah.
all
Whenever
day.
I got my washer and dryer, like a year or two ago, I was like, I want a big one that I have to climb into, and I literally sometimes feel like I'm climbing into it to get
that's
stuff
mine.
to put in
I
the
have
dryer.
the big 7 cubic feet ones, yeah.
Yeah, I love
Oh,
it though.
same.
You can wash comforters, all that.
Oh yeah, the king size ones, just
I can wash my ruggables
love
in them.
them.
Yeah.
Love them.
We
Yeah,
need
the
to
ones
get-
in Germany are like
Yeah, they're tiny.
fishbowl.
And they wash forever. I feel like they wash for 3 hours.
Yes.
Well, welcome to our
11th
episode.
Oh,
Happy
God.
table
You're
talk.
looking at me like I have something. Do I have treats in my pocket?
Is
that I
it
don't know about?
raining?
Is it? It was so windy today.
It's
So
going in a
windy. I was
storm,
taking
that's
videos
sure.
for
Look how gross it is out
clients today, and it was just like in the background.
Good thing we have no dogs right now that get set off by that.
Yeah.
that we know of.
That we know of. Right. That's
point.
true. Yeah, that act like they.
We know of.
Honestly, even our really anxious crew though is doing a lot better right now. So I think that everything's
Yeah, I
good
mean,
with the
I
weather.
feel like this week we had a crazy group coming together, but now after a few days, they're at the point where
They can hang.
it's evening
They
out.
are-
It's
right they can relax and they can hang out and they're
and that usually happens. It's just really stressful
to
in the
get to
beginning.
that point. Yeah.
Whenever they all first come in and you're like, oh wow, these dogs don't know anything and they're so anxious. But what is it? 4 or 5 days in.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. Sometimes
When we
day
start to
one, we're
form
like,
favorites, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
a lot of times that's when they start showing us their personalities too.
Yeah.
That's true.
We got a bunch of scared ones.
Not
right now,
like
though.
TT here shows her personality right away.
All the time. All the time, huh? She says, as long as you have treats.
She knows you brought the treats. She's like,
She's
have
like,
treats
I
in
want
my
one of those
pocket, too.
I show all the
chocolates
tricks.
that's right there. She was like, I saw them. I want one. They're wrapped in gold.
I sniffed one.
You're my good TT girl. Come here. Yes, you are. See, you're a good girl. She's like,
Yeah, treats in my pocket. She's been over here in my
See,
pocket.
she's like, what trick?
I know, she was looking at me though, like I had something. I was like, do I? I feel like she makes me second guess myself.
You making coffee? Yeah.
Did you not hear me?
No.
I showed up.
Oh, that's not gonna fit.
She
I was gonna
showed
say,
up.
I'll have
showed
a
up.
thermos.
I showed up with a caffeinated water, sparkling water, and I was like, I just brought this.
That just sounds like Sprite with
because I
extra
didn't
steps.
want to assume that Carlos would make me coffee, even though I would really like Carlos to make me coffee.
Carlos, you're the best.
Thank you so much, Carlos.
Did you watch that movie? What was it called, Shots?
Frozen.
Yes, exactly. Did you watch it?
Yeah,
both
Frozen.
Both Frozen.
All
Did I
three
tell you?
Frozen.
I don't think Grace was here for that.
No.
So, okay, there's a movie called Frozen, but not
Not the
movie.
Frozen.
That was way before that Frozen came
Okay.
out. So it's actually a horror movie. And, I don't like horror movies.
Me either.
But that's one of those movies. So I watched it,
What were we
and
talking
so
about?
these people are stuck on a skiing lift over
Yeah.
a 4-day weekend, and everything they do
Already.
was
Nope.
so stupid. So then one falls off, breaks leg, gets eaten by wolves. The other one finally climbs down, and they all end up dying. Right?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, right. Spoiler alert. So for 2 weeks, I kept thinking about this movie and what they should have done differently.
That's what it was. We were talking about the Final Destination movies.
Oh, yeah,
Then we started. Yes, I remember. I was like, man, why were we talking about
I
that?
cannot watch movies like that because I was like, man, they should have done this. They could have done that. They could have.
Logical thinking.
It was horrible.
Oh, nice.
Did you just pour water into your coffee?
No, it was coffee into my coffee.
So you pour old coffee into the.
It's cold, so it'll cool that down.
I don't drink coffee.
That's really good coffee too.
No, but I would like a Red Bull.
Oh,
Look at that.
Red Bull sponsor us.
Yeah,
Yes.
honestly, Carlos sponsored us. You just brought us all energy drinks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. I haven't had coffee in like 4 days too.
Yeah, right.
No, seriously, I haven't.
I tried that once.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's miserable. Absolutely miserable.
Can't do it.
Hi, Dee Dee.
The
Beautiful girl.
Got your boogie.
Oh, my dog's in a bath. Really badly.
Mine too. I went home and I was like, God, something stinks.
They smell bad right now. I don't even know why they smell bad.
They're so stinky. Their kennels smell horrible. They smell horrible. We kicked Darius out of the bedroom last night because we were like, you smell so bad.
Which reminds me, do we have groomers on the page that maybe watch this who groom cats? I would love to bring my supposedly white cat that's very Alabama orange right now and have him groomed.
I mean,
blowout.
You know someone who
Cheyenne
does
is
cats?
naturally certified, so I think maybe she does cats too. I don't know though.
I feel like she would maybe advertise that.
If you know of any cat
Yeah,
groomer,
let us know.
let me know. I'm gonna bring Joe by, and I would love for him to get groomed.
And I'm
Maybe
sure
I
he
would
would
love
love it
for
also.
his tail to be dyed.
Chopped off.
Oh,
Yeah, chopped off.
whoa.
No, but dyed a nice color. I think he would
Orange.
be cool with that. No, everything but orange.
Oh, why don't you just dye it rainbow?
That would be fun.
But that would also have orange in it.
Oh, that's true. Joe, I feel
Interesting.
like
Yellow.
You could be yellow. He could be a dandelion.
And he looks like someone peed on him.
it would look like that.
No,
yeah.
I would say blue.
I
love blue.
blue.
Or
Really like
purple. If y'all couldn't tell,
Maybe
she really likes blue.
a nice turquoise. Joe,
Really likes blue.
Weird.
Really likes blue.
you could
Really likes
or
blue.
tiger striped, and then you call him Joe Exotic.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so good.
And then you wouldn't even have to dye him. You just use the orange that he already is.
Yeah. That'd be perfect. That would be so perfect.
I mean, I'm still thrown off by
You
the
could give
fact
him a
that
mullet too. Then you could really call him Joe Exotic.
Snow White's now Carrie's owner said, "Oh, he's an interesting color," and I was like, "Yeah,
He's just
so it's just very, very dirty."
Speaking of the puppies, have we gotten any updates, photo updates, anything like that?
Not
from the puppies
lately,
that
but
got
the
adopted?
ones that went off to that other rescue up north, they all been adopted. So
That's good.
So I think the only one that's
You
still
said
in the program
Jack
is
went
Jack,
to the prison program.
Yeah.
I think we didn't talk about that on here.
So, so I usually work with all rescues pretty much here in the area. If someone really needs me, if I can, I try to help out. Foster usually through WAG, the Wiregrass Animal Group. But most of these rescues here, they work with rescues up north. Or I think
anywhere
somewhere in
else.
Florida, and one pretty cool one. I don't even know where they're, Pennsylvania or North Carolina. So that rescue works with
Pretty
the
far.
prison, and the dogs
Same
go
thing.
into the prison and
Essentially.
have obedience training before they get adopted out, which is pretty cool.
It's actually really nice because they get to spend like
24 hours.
24 hours a
with-
day, 7 days a week with the person.
Yeah.
And I also think it's probably pretty good for the people
Yeah.
that,
Are in prison.
do that because it's probably therapeutic.
I think it's cool. I think it's really
And
nice.
plus,
that
it
they
gives
do
them
that.
something to do that's
Yeah.
constructive as opposed to
Where I lived in
destructive.
Florida, back in Fort Myers, the prison there does the same program, worked with the shelter I worked at. And they had a lot of success, like a dog that I think had been in the shelter for like 2 or 3 years, went to the prison program, and then was able to get adopted.
My neighbor in Kansas, they had a dog that came from the prison program from one of the prison programs when he was a puppy.
That's pretty cool.
He didn't listen.
Peanut. It worked great.
Peanut. Oh, the Gracie that we had.
Oh yeah, Gracie, the one that was the
long short one
was on the anxiety medication.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. Their old dog was from a prison program, which was pretty cool. But so we wanted to talk about some training tools, and I don't think we own a flexi lead.
We kept one for a while, I think, so that we could do something like this, but I think one day I got so upset at it, I threw it away.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure we threw it away.
I'm pretty sure I took a picture of it, though, and it had a warning on it, and
It did.
I'm gonna try to find it.
I remember that.
Quick.
So, I got hurt so bad by a flexi lead before.
Yo, super dangerous.
Yeah,
so
super
dangerous.
My sister-in-law was walking her dogs one time in her front yard on a flexi line. Get there, pull up, get out of the truck. Dog sees me, comes flying at me. Flexi line zooms out of her hand
and hits
right past my head. And I went, that's why I don't like flexi lines.
Well, mine wrapped around my ankle.
Yeah,
I mean, it was not mine. It was the person I was interacting with. And yeah, I still have
probably a scar.
I still have a scar right here. It's small now, but it was like...
worked at a vet clinic. Let her dog just like wander around on a flexi line all the way back around the counter.
Oh, good.
And I want to say someone had to go to the hospital because someone's finger got caught in it.
Oh gosh.
And it like nearly amputated their finger.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you own a flexi line, throw it out,
please.
In the garbage.
And if you own a flexi line and you bring your dog here on your flexi line, we're probably going to say something.
Yeah, we're not going to throw it out, but we're going to encourage you very strongly to throw it out.
Yes.
So we don't ever use a flexi line.
No, we don't.
No, we do not.
Not here.
No, we do not use a flexi line. I mean, have I used one before? Sure.
Oh my God.
Is mine gonna do?
Dangerous person. Blue alert, officer
Oh, it's
injured.
an amber alert.
It's an Opelika.
I thought they
I know.
me.
I was like, is there a tornado?
It's like, I'm going to get picked up. I'm caught.
That was like, oh.
We're talking about flexi leads. See, it was...
that was a sign,
right,
not
that
to
was
use
a sign.
flexi leads.
Do not use. Very dangerous. And now I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah. I've used one, like, with a little dog in my backyard before. So, when I didn't have a fence or something. But, that's about it.
Yeah.
And I usually... I mean, that dog was very, very little, like, under 2 pounds or just 2 pounds. Other than... Because normally I would use a long line. And a long line... We use...
I mean, I've used them to teach pulling on a leash, but that's for something totally different.
Right. That has nothing to do with your regular training. Yeah. So a long line is great for when you start doing recall or you adopt a dog from a shelter that's afraid of everything, that maybe runs from you at the beginning because they, are scared of people. Then you can kind of let them pull that around with them outside and you have an easier time catching them. We use these for off-leash training at the beginning, so in case the dog, Lila, get my up.
I'll also utilize them sometimes, like if I want to hang out and like garden or do something, I'll bring my dogs outside and I'll tie them up with a long line so they have a little bit of freedom. But
I've been using them for door manners a lot recently too. If a dog does really poorly on their door manners, then we put a long line on them and kind of give them that back pressure as well.
So these are great. They come in different lengths. I think the most common are about
10, 15, 20.
We have everything up to, I think our longest is 50.
We have a 50 foot. I think the most common one that's sold is like 25.
It smells really bad.
They
I used it
they can be cumbersome and get tangled,
I have
but
to smell it again, though.
in the long
Just to
run, they
make sure.
still are much safer than what you would get utilizing a flexi line.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, don't walk around a park with your dog on any long line, because that is just
That
not going to
defeats the
end well.
purpose. Yeah.
I mean, I was at, and I've said that talked about that before, was at Hobby Lobby, and I was standing there talking. My dog was right next to me, and all of a sudden, a dog on a flexi line comes around the corner in my dog's face. And
Owner's around the corner.
right. I had not even seen the owner then. Luckily, I mean, my dog is very well behaved, but she did growl at him, telling him, hey, don't come near us, because I wasn't paying attention. So if I would have had a dog with me that was maybe dog aggressive or
Fear reactive, anything.
or anything, that would have not ended well. So that's why it's always good to have your dog right by your side, so you see what they're doing and they can follow you versus pulling you around everywhere.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, it defeats the purpose. There's like in parks, there's leash mandates. You have to put your dog on a leash. A long line is a leash, yes, but you don't have full control over it where they're mandating that.
But yeah, it does boil down to like control. So like without a leash on your dog or training and an e-collar or something like that, like you really don't have control over your dog.
Exactly.
So this gives you control, but it still gives your dog that sense of freedom.
So
So you know they're safe.
For park, vet visits, anything like that, you want to use a regular, just a 4-foot leash. You can use a 6-foot leash maybe, but nothing longer than that. I even prefer the 4-foot, so I don't have so much hanging. Oh gosh.
Yep.
Person's like super dangerous, I guess.
Lock your doors.
Oh, 20
Is mine
years.
gonna go off next?
Probably, yeah.
I love that picture.
The last one. I do too. It cracks me up. No, I have an iPhone.
Yep.
I love it. Cracks me up. He looks like such an old man in it.
What?
Oh, I thought it was gonna pop up.
So yeah, we like these leashes. I'm just a really big fan of these leashes. If you know.
Mendota.
Yeah, Mendota leashes. We have tons of long leashes from them. We have slip leads, buckle leashes, all kinds of leashes. They're just made really nice.
yes.
But any
That
leash
reminds me.
with the buckle will do.
Buckle leash is just a regular leash, by the
Right.
way.
A buckle
Just-
leash is a
yeah.
leash with the clip on it. That's all it is.
I've had that question asked.
I know
Yeah, a
so
lot of
many
people get
don't
confused.
use.
I like to, so,
Maybe I put like regular leash.
so
But then regular leash.
Yeah,
right.
I just leave it as it is.
we use these, for everyday training here. And so I'm used to holding these. And so if I need to correct a dog or something like that, I'm used to holding this.
Mm-hmm.
I held someone's regular leash like that the other day, and when I was holding it and gave the dog a correction, it hurt my hand.
Yeah.
It wasn't as comfortable. So not only are these really, really cute, they're very soft, and because they're round, they're just
It's a nice grip.
the most easily handled.
And we do not get paid for
No, we don't.
review on it.
Yeah.
So we couldn't, as far as that, care less if you buy them or not, but we just really love these
Yeah.
leashes. Let's see, this is a regular buckle leash. I think this is also 4-foot, huh?
No, I think that's
Six, maybe.
Let me
Let me just.
but what we like about these, as you can see, it says do not pet, which is nice when we go out in public with any dog
Do not
training.
pet.
Oh yeah,
I forgot
we have
about
to.
that one.
Yeah, same.
You just, you're still gonna have people come up to you and ask you if they can pet your dog. Oh, 'cause I
It's
know.
so dirty. Oh gosh.
It is really good. I bought a couple new ones though. But they just help with.
It's a deterrent.
You have less
Yeah,
people
and you don't have to
approaching you.
have any sort of special dog to have a leash that says that. That's
Yeah.
just a really good thing to have, so that if you do bring your dog out in public,
Right.
people aren't rushing up to them and greeting them, throwing their hands in their face. However, a lot of people don't read,
Yep.
and they won't see that.
Right.
But
I would say
This
we
does
just-
help a lot.
We just use it because we're hoping it will help, and there's
It
out
helps.
of
It does.
10
I think
people,
it
there's
does.
8 that read it, or
Yeah.
even 9 that read it. And the red is a little bit but
More flashy.
as far as comfort, no, and mostly we use these for dogs that already know what they're doing, so it doesn't really matter at that
Yeah.
point. But they're just, I like them for
The do not pet
For the do
aspect.
not
Where did
Yeah,
you get
that's
those? Amazon?
Amazon. I buy a lot of stuff on Amazon or Chewy,
Yeah, Chewy, same.
Jeffers. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I thought you were gonna say something.
Yes. This is another Mendota leash. This is a slip lead. So we start all dogs. When you first drop your dog off, we're gonna put one of these over their head and get them inside. The nice thing is your dog can't pull out of these no matter how hard they pull. So they're really nice.
leather tab.
They're really nice. I made almost all rescues and shelters in the area. Kind of start using these because especially when they catch dogs or hey kitten.
Has to let us know.
Yes.
She always.
Mm-hmm.
Every time.
I think she knows that I don't love cats.
No, you do love her though.
I do. Kitten, you're the best cat.
It's like I don't care.
Oh, you
do
found
love
your
me.
collar, huh? Did you find Bullet's leg?
Was she? We got a what?
Oh, you got a
question?
comment from Monique. She spoke to you earlier. Can't wait to talk again about Teddy.
Oh yes, yeah. We talked earlier on the phone. And
Oh, awesome.
Teddy was very loudly in the background, but we'll get that under control. But yeah, so we start all dogs kind of on the slip lead. That's how we get them inside. And nice because even if a dog is scared, if you work with rescue dogs like I do a lot, they can't pull out of them
Can't back
and
out, can't pull
run
out.
away from you. So that's really nice. And then it also, when we start introducing a dog to a prong collar, we kind of double leash them so that they get used to the idea of having a prong collar.
So
on.
if you have a dog here and you've seen pictures or videos and you're like, why is my dog wearing 2 leashes? A lot of times that's what's
why,
going on because we never just throw a
one on
prong
and
collar
hope.
on a dog. We always start dogs on slip leads and then slowly
Ease
work
into
them over.
But the reason we use prong collars versus these or
Or a
a
flat
regular
collar,
flat
yeah.
collar, and this is a regular flat collar, just
Just a cloth collar that
Just-
sits on your dog's
right.
neck.
So the reason for that is a prong collar was designed for dogs like pugs and I don't know, anything small with a short
Frenchies.
snout
Mhm.
that tend to have problems with their trachea, where the eyes can pop out if they have pressure on their neck.
Boston Terriers.
Boston Terriers, boxers,
Bulldogs,
bulldogs, anything where they shouldn't have any pressure on their neck. What these do, they evenly apply pressure all around the neck. So these are not sharp. I mean,
They're dull.
they're dull. I mean, and I don't have hair. A dog has hair, and you see when they're playing with each other and biting each other, you're not going to be able to do that with the prong collar. But I can do that, and I mean, I feel it, but it does not hurt me at all. I mean, it's not.
It's not leaving marks or anything on her.
applies the same pressure on every point. Also, what you see is when it's loose. I mean, you can't really see if my arm is so freaking skinny.
Yeah, just like this.
But so when it's like this,
It's just
it's
sitting.
just sitting on
It
there,
fitted
and then
properly.
never fitted properly. And a dog can still pull you. I mean, went to an event last year or the year before, and I saw a ton of dogs with prong collars on, and they were pulling like crazy. So this is not a tool you throw on your dog and they just magically don't pull anymore. It's really made for communication. A dog should never pull you on a collar, on any tool you're using, and it's always how you're using it. But it gives you better communication. You can correct the dog a little easier.
Especially
And
when they're
it's-
distracted. It's so helpful, especially when we get like these dogs that are leash reactive.
And
We're
I mean-
super excited to see other people.
You can give usually a small correction on these collars and you have the dog right away go, oh, versus when you use these,
you gotta give it.
you
a little
have
bit
to
more.
give a good
Yeah.
correction for it to have the same effect. So these are actually a lot more gentle than a slip lead or a regular collar. Regular collar will hurt your dog's throat eventually. And these, you have to have really good handling skills and a lot of
Yes.
experience to use these leashes correctly.
Yes.
I love these leashes. I can train pretty much any dog on these leashes.
Cruella.
But you need a lot of handling skills. Where these, if your dog is trained on them and
Makes
you're
your
taught
life
how to use
easier.
them, you can't really do a whole lot wrong unless you're hanging your dog from it or you're misusing it basically.
But
I mean, anything
we
you
introduce
use.
your dogs to prong collars to make your lives easier, not because it makes it easier for
Right. I mean,
us.
we can use anything, but the thing is, if we send your dog home and we train him on a flat collar, your dog's gonna walk great for me, but it's
probably not going to work out for you. They're
Right.
going to test you. They're going to realize, hey, I can get
Right.
away with this.
That's mine, thank you.
And
That's
then
mine,
boom,
thank you.
you have problems.
But yeah, so they're mainly made, like I said, they're not sharp, and they won't hurt your dog if you use them correctly. We're not putting them on and just start walking them with it. There's a lot of training behind it. So don't get a puppy and then buy a prong collar and that's the first thing you use. That's not how it works, okay? Do a lot of research about any tool that you use and how to introduce your dog correctly to it. And I put the work in it into it. I mean,
And if you're also not sure, just contact a trainer.
yeah, contact a trainer. And what makes a trainer a good trainer, I always say have them show you before and afters. I mean, anyone can tell you this trainer is great because they may be friends with someone. But I think what's important is to see a lot of dogs before and after training videos, testimonials, things like that.
We also maybe mentioned, so we use the Herm Springer brand.
Yes.
And it's size 2.25. And a lot of people get very confused about that because on the internet, if you go on and you go to purchase one on Chewy or Amazon, it'll say, if your dog weighs this much, this is the size prong collar you need. And that's whenever you get one of these honking pieces in the mail.
Right. And these,
and when we say honkin' pieces, they're
So heavy.
yeah.
they're
So
really
heavy.
heavy. And the thing is, we use these on a big husky, Malamute, Great Pyrenees maybe.
With a lot of fur.
With a lot of fur. But even for a Great Dane, we use these because, it doesn't matter how much the dog weighs because it's not about holding the dog's weight.
And you make
And
it
I mean,
bigger by adding links.
Right. And think
to
about it. So if you have a collar like this and your dog's kitten sized, you're going to have maybe 2 prongs on here and
Not
a lot of
pressure
chain.
points.
Then you're
So
no
you
longer
have
having
3
evenly
pressure
distributed
points.
pressure.
And then when you have one like this, you have 16 different pressure points. So that pressure is more evenly
And
distributed
that's what
around.
makes it more gentle, the tool. So the more pressure point it has, the more gentle
I know,
it's
it's so
gonna-
heavy.
I know.
And that's 2.25 millimeters.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right? You don't want somebody 2.25
Yes. And if it
inches.
says like
Yes.
14 inches
Thank
for the
you for
neck size,
clarifying.
just
And
get
you
that
want
one.
to have a good brand, and we love Herm Springer, and almost every balance trainer
We'll recommend.
will
Herm Springer.
recommend this brand because it's German.
Well,
It's
fact
just
check.
a good brand.
Herm Springer is actually the first company to come
Right,
out with the
that
prong
came
collar
out with
from
that.
Germany,
Yes.
Right.
1872. So
Oh.
Yeah.
Look at you, huh? Doing
Yeah.
our
I'm
here for the
research.
facts.
Fun facts. I like that.
But I mean, it's a good collar. You're never gonna have issues with it. The links are really easily
Yeah, that's the thing with some
manipulated.
cheaper ones, or the links are so hard to get on and off, and
what
especially
makes it
in the winter when your fingers are cold.
And especially in this size, you have no idea how many of these collars I have fought with because I simply cannot get it.
Did I one time walk in on you trying to get one
Yes,
apart
with a can opener. Yes,
Yeah, I
I have
thought so.
tried
and they
several
do
different
make
things.
Herm Springer in different sizes for dogs where you would need a different size.
And different colors. They have a black one, a silver one.
What's also important and different about the cheap collars, first of all, these pressure points are rounded. A lot of cheap collars, they are sharp, which we do not ever want. And see how they kind of, when it closes up, they kind of go together. They don't poke into the neck. They just kind of squeeze the skin versus putting pressure like
Directly
into
in.
into the
That's
neck.
because it changes direction.
So, but yeah, it looks scary to us, but we usually have more fights on the slip lead with the dog than we have on a prong collar. And usually we use a prong collar on little dogs or on on a puppy until they're a little bit older or a little bigger. But sometimes we have a little dog that just responds way better to the prong collar than it does to a slip lead.
Molly, a good example. Molly, Percy and Monty. So if she's watching,
right? Yeah.
She just had her dogs here, and they were smaller, but they're little terriers, Westies, and they're strong. And I showed her the difference in a correction on a prong, and she immediately was like, I'm getting those.
And they also
and she's been having
responded
so much
really
success.
great to them right away. They were never struggling with it. They were never. And I remember when we first put a slip lead on Percy, and he was like,
Oh,
I do not want
they
that.
actually responded better to it.
So then the question is, why do we not use harnesses?
Oh boy.
And I explain that a lot. So a harness.
Close.
So I only have one of these harnesses. So this is a harness that I actually do use, and this is for in training, service dog. When we go out in public, things like that. But we don't usually. I don't put a leash on this. So the reason why I do that, or why I use these ones, is just to have
Simply
a visual
to
show people, hey, leave my dog alone. Pretty much. But so what a harness does, first of all, you have no communication with your dog. Your dog will be in front of you, and your dog shouldn't be in front of you unless they're off-leash trained or you're out in the field where there's nothing around. But if you're walking in a park, in a neighborhood, store, whatever, your dog should be right by your side and he should be following you, which he can't really do with the harness. And even if they do, if they see something, you have no control over the head, so the dog is going to make a decision about it. And then a lot of people buy them because their dog pulls them. And with this, they still pull, but they don't choke themselves. Well, first of all, train your dog to not pull. That's the important thing, not the difference of the tool. But if you use a harness and your dog pulls you on it, so they're either going to put pressure on the shoulders really harshly, so it's going to ruin your dog's shoulders. It's also going to put pressure on the spine because the dog is not walking in a natural way. They would walk without pulling. They're going to be going like this backwards. So it's going to put pressure on the spine, on the hips, on the shoulders, which you don't want to have for a very long time. I mean, that's for a short time when they're pulling something. But harnesses that are made to pull, they're a lot bigger, they're a lot longer, they're differently shaped.
A little bit allergic.
And then there's these fancy...
That's why I can't have her on my lap.
These fancy harnesses nowadays where you clip in the front and your dog can't pull you with it. So your dog still pulls you, just not as hard, but they're going to be walking like this the whole time. That's
also
horrible.
really messing with their shoulders.
Right.
Plus, it's adding pressure into the armpits, and they get sores and all kinds of things. I've seen it all.
Right. And I mean, how many dogs have we had even dropped off here that slipped out of a harness?
Right.
So
Super easy for them to just
back out and pop out.
Right. 90% of dogs know how to get out of a harness. So it's just simply not safe for your dog, not safe for you, not safe for the environment.
I mean,
do not use a harness. I mean, I cannot throw a harness on my dog, but they're off-leash trained. They know how to heel. So it doesn't matter what tool I'm using, but the important thing is training. And if your dog is not fully trained, to at least have something where you can manage their behavior and you have control over them. So this is why we do not use a harness unless it's for a working dog of any type where you would do sniff work
to pull
or
a sled.
Right, or a search and rescue dog or something. But they have special harnesses. They're not going to buy a harness from Walmart or the pet store. So that's our intake on harnesses. Also, I mean, it's just... No, don't use flexi leads. Don't use harnesses.
Oh my gosh! And for the love of God, don't
not
use
in conjunction.
Flexi lead on a harness.
Yes, not in conjunction either, please.
I mean, it's just
you are asking for trouble.
So, well, since we're doing collars and harnesses,
yeah, might as well, right?
So we have this, and I've had this thing. See how
it's dingy. It's still
so
in the
dusty.
box.
It's still in the box. So a fancy head collar.
My favorite.
It's garbage. I'm sorry, it's just garbage. First of all, your dog's gonna hate it, and once you have them used to it enough that they don't hate it no more, you cannot ever correct your dog on this. So your dog,
you would wrench their
again,
neck.
it's gonna hurt their back, their spine, their neck, because they're gonna be walking like this. But if your dog does something, bark at another dog, wanting to pull you over there, you can never give a correction on this. So
it's like whiplash. So when you get in a car wreck and your neck goes like this, it's the same thing. So you give a correction.
a head
Yeah.
halter,
It's gonna go
I mean,
and pull their
a
neck.
head halter is for horse,
Yeah.
and with the horse, you're also not gonna correct it.
No.
I mean, you're not gonna go like this
Yeah.
on a head
It's to
halter with the
lead.
horse. It's just to lead them.
Yeah.
But these, you're not leading them like you would
Yeah.
a horse. You're basically just preventing them from pulling you all around. But again, also, if they're not fitted correctly, it's so easy
They
for
slip
them
out
to
of
pull
them.
out of it. And I mean, I like to try out everything. So every tool that's out there, I like to kind of buy it and test it out, because you always learn new
Gave
things.
myself whiplash.
and so for fun, I think I bought this for
For Bella?
back
Yep.
then, just for fun to
First of
try
all,
it out.
I want to start a tally and see how many episodes you've mentioned Bella
Mentioned
in,
Bella.
because you use her as an example for everything.
What?
Because
She talked everything.
yeah, she
Literally
had
the
all the
reason why
problems.
you're a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this dog, and like I said, I've done show dogs in Germany, agility training. I've done a little bit with police dogs, obedience training. And I thought I knew everything, but yeah, this dog definitely taught me that I
love it.
didn't.
I just want to
back
start a
then.
tally and see if you actually did it in every episode.
We have to take a shot every time I say
Or how many times you've said, "Kitten, where's your collar?"
Yeah.
I don't know why she's wearing one now. Did you put that on?
I was going to say,
Where
I'm pretty
was
sure
it?
he said he put one on.
Carlos put it on her so that when she jumped up here, we wouldn't say,
Where's
"Kitten,
your collar?"
Where's your collar?
It was in the drawer.
Yeah, you didn't hear me. You didn't hear me go kitten.
I don't think this is from the cats though. This is, I think,
Probably
from
a puppy collar,
when
yeah.
I put them on the puppies.
That's what
It
looks
fits
like.
her?
Yeah, I used cat collars on the
Yeah.
puppies
Because they have the quick release.
yeah.
Is there a reason why you're digging your nails into
Yeah,
me
she loves doing
currently?
that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I tried to introduce Bella to this just because I wanted to see what it's all about, and
Ironically, even has a beagle on the picture.
it does. And yeah, that was not fun.
Garbage.
It was horrible. I mean, she went scratching herself, trying to scratch it off, almost scratch her eyes out, going like this over the
On
ground.
Yep.
Alligator rolling, flipping around, almost strangling herself. It was horrible. I mean, and I've done the way it's recommended to do, but no, as soon as she had that thing fully on, I tried to, nothing worked. So it's just not fun. It's going to take you forever. I mean, I got her used to it
A lot of
eventually
dogs will
and
rub
hated it.
rub their noses so much they'll
Raw.
rub a raw
Yep.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've used them in the past whenever I was.
So
I did
when
not.
you buy a
Starting
tool
out.
for your dog, do your research. Don't just get what's on the shelf at the store. Do
No
your research
tool-
on why these things, and look at before and afters. I mean, there's a lot of tools where they're like, yeah, they're great. And everyone says, yeah, they're great. But then you buy it and they're not.
Yeah.
And that's because all these, yeah, they're great were like sponsored reviews or something. So,
Or they just so happened to get a dog that responded to it.
right.
I mean, there are those
but see
unicorns
before
out
and
there.
afters where a dog was awful on the leash or just shows the same behavior your dog does right now, and then you see an after and you have a kind of estimate time on how long did it take. I mean, I also don't want to get a tool and then it takes me 6 months to train the dog with it.
Not when I
mean-
can have faster results with something else.
And
Yeah.
easier results. I mean, we all have to work and do housework and all these things. So yes, I put time and effort into training my dog, and we put a lot of time and effort into it. But at the same time, I don't want to have to start using something that I can't actually use for a
6
few
month
months
period, yeah.
because I have to get the dog used to it, right? Where something like this, I get him used to having something around the neck, and then I throw a prong collar on and practice. But I can actually already use it. So that's that.
E-collars?
I wanted to do something else. Oh yeah. So another very, very probably your most important training tool, apart from your voice and praising your dog and teaching them commands, treats. So
Couple different
food.
kinds.
We a lot of times use the dog's regular food, but then we have treats that are higher value because they don't get them all the time, and so we of course reward our dogs a lot, and we teach them with treats a lot of things by luring
they're
them and things
small.
like that.
Small.
So buy a little treat pouch, like, and this is a really cheap one,
Yeah, that one,
Amazon,
there's another one in
$5
there
or
too, I think.
$3.99 or something. You can clip it to any pants here, wherever you want them. Throw a few treats in when you go on the walk, and show your dog. Lead them with their nose. Show them what you want from them, and make sure you reward them every time they do something good. Especially if they do it without you telling them first.
Leela,
So,
her treats.
Leela, you want a treat?
I think I have one.
Oh, look at Rosalie. She's like, yep, I want one. Can you bow? No, that's not bow. Back up. Can you bow? Good girl. I can't see that. It's my favorite trick right
They
now.
make all sorts of
Different kinds.
treat
Yeah.
bags and stuff. You can also get a fanny pack. Put that with treats. I know a more manly option for you men is you can get a hardware apron.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And put treats in that.
You could get pants.
Right. Or you, I mean,
with a
I
cargo
find
pocket.
treats in almost every pocket.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Hoodie
so
pockets.
That's
Hoodie
why
pockets,
I prefer a
jackets.
treat
It's horrible.
pouch versus putting it in my pockets, because your washer and dryer will find all of those treats that you
Yes.
left in your pockets, and it gets kind of aggravating.
Okay, little things that we don't use a whole lot. I use them for my dogs. A whistle.
No.
My dogs, very well trained. They can go pretty far, even if I'm out in the woods or something. I love that word. I say that a lot.
Woods, yes,
right?
you do.
The woods.
Ah, yes.
Oh.
Thank you, kitten.
The
You
woods.
gotta go, though.
Get out.
I can't have
Say
you on
that
my
a
lap. I'm
lot.
sorry. I'm allergic. Oh, shit. That's not
But yeah, they just know that either when they hear the beep of the e-collar or I would blow the whistle that they have to come to me. So it's just preventing me from yelling so much.
I use a clicker for the same purpose.
Right. I mean, so a different kind of clicker.
Yes.
It's not
Yeah.
a clicker as we know it.
Yeah.
Clicker is just a marker. We use our voice for
Yeah,
that.
my collars
It's-
make a clicker noise. That's why I said I use a clicker in place.
But a regular clicker that you would use or that most people know, it's just a marker.
Yeah,
it's
it's
great
used to
for trick
teach
training and
behaviors.
things like that. But we don't teach a whole lot of tricks, so that's why we don't.
It'd
really
be cool if we had time to do that, because I do enjoy the
I know.
trick stuff.
And
but
occasionally we do teach a dog a trick here and there.
Yeah, but
and
it's-
a lot of dogs.
My favorite one's speak. If your dog comes home barking, you're welcome. That was me.
TT, can you loud? Loud. Loud.
Loud.
kitten's like, I'll do it.
Treat. Look, Pinky. I'm sorry, kitten. I can't have you on my lap.
Loud.
Loud. Loud. Loud.
She's trying to be polite with the
She's
camera.
trying
Loud.
to bow right
Loud.
now. We've
Loud.
Rosalie barked a lot, so we practiced recently a lot on not barking.
Loud.
But Leela, loud. Go. Get out.
Loud. Yeah, go, go.
Oh, she's
close.
growling. Yeah.
Close. Loud. Loud.
Can you bark?
Loud.
No. Okay.
Loud. Loud. Yeah, loud.
So I
So
thought,
scary, Dolly. So scary.
Loud.
you know how it always works? Bella. Sus.
Oh, good girl. Always.
So-
Every time.
Dolly and Leela learned how to growl on command, and that's a really fun trick. Oh, good girl. Another thing that we don't use a whole lot, but sometimes, unfortunately, we have to use it. They're from Muzzles. So this one is typically used at the vet for very short periods of times at the groomer. They can't be worn for a very long time or when you're exercising because it shuts them out and they can't regulate their body temperature by panting. So this is not a and if they're not fitted right, that they can still
Get out.
pant, then they can also still bite. So this is really groomer. You're gonna probably see them at the vet occasionally. They're made for very short. So
This is what I train all of my dogs on to start.
Right. So, and it's good if your dog is okay wearing a muzzle because you never know if you're ever gonna need it for whatever reason. I know there's countries where you're only allowed to bring your dog on a train or whatever
In public
on a muzzle. So, who knows? Crate training, of course. Use a crate, but we've talked about that before. This is a muzzle.
Definitely more geared
it's a
towards
basket
training.
muzzle. We use these typically when we need it at the beginning for a dog that comes in as a bite risk. If I would own a dog that is a bite risk that needs to wear it a lot, then you can have a muzzle custom made that is properly fitted.
Those ones.
But these, they can pant with, they can open their mouth, they can even drink water or receive treats. So they work really well for us if we, need
to use one.
Right.
Yeah.
Or sometimes we have a dog that isn't friendly around others. We have to just use it for a short period of time. But they can wear them for 2-3 hours. They can wear them on a walk. That can breathe with it and do everything how they would without a muzzle, except bite.
Also known as a basket muzzle.
Right. So it's a basket muzzle. They're
Flexible.
They're they're not soft, but they're flexible. And they have, nice holes for them to breathe and everything.
Yeah. They make all different kinds of muzzles. I mean, leather, metal, rubber, fabric, you name it, mesh.
Really fancy thing. It's a goat leash for like
Love
$2. I love goat leashes.
Great Danes, we're looking at you.
Great Danes, right? Anything. If your dog is really well trained, like I put these on my dogs, go to Lowe's, and then I can drop the leash. I can grab something off the shelf and don't have to go back down and pick the leash up from the ground. I can just grab it from the dog, or if you're practicing off-leash heel or something and you occasionally need to grab a leash, this is really fun to use.
Has to be kind of a taller or larger dog.
Yeah,
it doesn't work quite the same with a small dog.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they do make leashes like this in different sizes, but these are the ones that we like and that we use.
Literally at Tractor Supply, these are in the goat section. They're called goat leashes.
Yes.
Yep.
They're a foot long,
And there's also
and it's
something.
just a handle.
Yeah, I think
And
they're only
there's
like 6
also
inches.
something called for dog training. It's a traffic lead, but they're a little bit longer, so I don't like them quite as much. I actually like, and they're much more expensive, so I buy goat leashes.
They're real cheap.
This is just another. It's basically kind of made like a slip lead that can't slip out. These skinny ones you've seen a lot in more professional training
that's what I use.
situations. And strict obedience or even show dog training. So we just have them for in case we would need one, but
Not typically something that we use on every dog.
right. It's also great if your dog was aggressive or something, because to break up a dog fight, you can choke the dog off really easily with these. But I mean, that's something I want you
That's
to
an
use
extreme
at home.
measure.
Yeah.
Right. If your dog is aggressive to the point that you would need something like that, definitely you should have contacted a trainer by then that would teach you how to use something like that. But yeah. Then another really nice tool that I love and that's really easy to use and that can...
TT, you better run.
You can't really do anything wrong with. TT hates it. Works really well on Rosalie because Rosalie couldn't care less about training tools.
Speaking of Rosalie.
But if I use this, she's usually a little bit. She just doesn't.
Another
like
treat
it.
pouch.
Yeah, another treat.
That one's magnetic.
Yeah, this one's super cool.
It is. But I don't like these because I'm so freaking skinny.
They fall down when you walk.
or I have this big loop like this
Yeah.
because I have put it tighter than than it usually goes. So it's like some sticking out. But this right here, so all of this compressed air. And it's just to kind of make your point. But if your dog jumps on you a lot, bites your hand, doesn't respect you while you're eating, runs out the
Barking.
door, barking, and all it does, it makes a loud sound.
Yep, there she goes.
They just don't like see. So she learned when I would use this. Like Rosalie was horrible about door boundaries, and no matter how many times I practiced it with her, she would still, whenever I was busy, and she knew I was busy, and it's very Beagle-like, right, TT? She would still try to kind of squeezed by the
Inching out,
kids or something. It was not because I didn't put enough reps in or she didn't know what to do. It was really just because
you're not gonna make it from here.
she wanted to, and she wanted to be bad at that point, and the reward of getting out was more important than whatever we had practiced. So I bought this, or I had this obviously, but I tried it. And she didn't like it, and I was like, great. And then for a while, I had one sitting by the door. Every time I opened the door, I would pick it up, use it if needed. And then our door boundaries were kind of
solidified.
Right. So if you have a dog that barks a lot in the crate, it's not something you ever want to spray directly at the dog. It wouldn't really hurt them. It's really
cold if you
cold compressed air. Stuff is super expensive for compressed air.
Yeah.
I wish I would have invented that. No, these little things that you can use for to clean electronics does not work the same, unfortunately, because that would be much cheaper. But yeah, this stuff is wonderful. It works for a lot of dogs. It's not going to work forever. They're going to figure out it's just air.
And it's not going to work for every dog.
But for some, sometimes it's just nice to have something quick. If it's just something small you want to fix. But yeah, if your dog jumps constantly and you're doing everything by the book the way you're supposed to, and your dog still jumps on you because I don't know why, because they're just doing it. And there's dogs like that. There's dogs that you can work with and you can teach however many times you want. If they get the opportunity, they're still going to jump on you. They're still going to jump on grandma. So that's something like this is great for. There's maniac dogs that are like, ooh, cool, what is that? Let me grab it. But most dogs, they're more like, we don't like that.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty cool tool you can also get on Amazon and a lot of pet stores.
They also sell very small bottles that are like the size of those travel hairsprays. And it can be something to carry with you if you walk your dog somewhere often where you might encounter off-leash dogs. Because it can be used as a deterrent for a dog running up to you. That's another really great way to utilize that.
Yeah. Another thing, great tool, a good bark collar. Not a cheap one you can buy at Walmart. Not one that sprays citronella. So, and I hear that a lot. I like the more humane ones that spray citronella. So the more humane ones that use citronella, in our opinion, more humane, are actually way more cruel than this. And the reason for that is, if you think about it,
it's the scent.
The dog's most sensitive part of the body is their nose. So they bark and they get sprayed with citronella right in their nose. Just imagine you spray citronella in your nose. That's going to hurt you. And that's going to hurt your dog really, really badly. And then it's not going to only hurt the dog in the moment they bark. It's going to hurt them for hours because it's going to be stuck in their nose. So even though they're not barking and they're being good, they're still feeling that burning feeling of citronella in their nose. Where a collar like this, and you can set them to just beep, just vibrate, beep and vibrate, or beep and stimulation.
Or vibrate and stimulate.
Right. So you have tons of options. You can set the intensity. You can set if it gets stronger every time. But fact is, it will only correct your dog in the moment they bark, and then it will stop immediately. So it's not the dog's not going to bark, and it's going to keep beeping, vibrating, shocking them for 10 more minutes. It happens in that moment, and that's it. So your dog will learn this is what it is, and therefore it's way, way more secure and safe. And your dog's neck is not as sensitive as their nose. So, yeah, bark collar, really nice. If you have an obnoxious dog that just barks in the crate, and no matter what you do, or you live in an apartment,
it can be helpful if you aren't there to actually correct them. My dog, every now and then I'll come home and Bullet's barking in his kennel when he's hearing my car pull up, and even if he's not barking for very long, it's not okay. I live in an apartment, and so
or like my sister's dog doesn't bark at home, but whenever she's here and she feels the need to let me know when there's something going on the dog side, she would just stand in the backyard and bark. And Yes, I could not allow her to go outside. I could put her on place. I could do this. I could do that. Sure, I could do all that. But I'm not concerned about any of this. The only thing I don't want is her to bark. So I put one on. I even have it just set to a beep and a vibrate. But she knows she's wearing one and she's not barking anymore. Mm-hmm. And it's just annoying to me. So I put that on. And that's much easier than training my sister's dog not to do that. So... And I'm okay with it. I usually want her to bark. Mm-hmm. So, but I don't want her to bark when I'm busy doing something and she just wants to let me know that a dog on the training side is barking.
Yeah, and I mean, we have dogs out there all the time. So she could be out there all day barking at us.
And right, and she
there's
doesn't really bark
there's
at
your
you.
Weekly shout out to your sister.
My weekly shout out to my sister. Yeah, my sister only watches part of this. She said I told her she has to watch the whole thing.
She's been watching for about an hour now, so good for you. Good for you.
Is she watching?
No, probably not.
Probably not.
She was on the Instagram.
Yeah,
is this the Mini Educator brand?
I'm gonna test her tomorrow. Yeah, this is the Mini Educator brand, and
so it's not your cheapy collar. It has
but
many different settings.
They're still under $100. So. And I mean, the ones at Walmart, you pay also like $45-$50 for, so they're not really cheap. This is under $100. And the nice thing is you can buy different tips for it. So if your dog wears it for a longer time, like we have sensitive comfort tips, so it doesn't hurt your dog's neck. And then I can put it on a setting 1, that's just a little tap, or I can put it on a setting 9, which is the strongest. Oh no, the 8 is actually the strongest.
Yeah, 9 is.
Or I can do a 9 where it goes
progressively
higher.
Nothing.
It's gluten-free.
Oh,
you eat salami just like that?
Yeah.
Like a snack? That's weird.
Why is that weird? It's usually on charcuterie boards.
Do you have cheese? Do you want me to cut you a piece of cheese?
Some crackers.
don't cut the cheese,
crackers.
Melissa.
Wow.
And some crackers.
She doesn't. She's never cut the cheese in her life.
Ever.
Never.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, cutting the cheese. It means farting.
Means farts,
I did
shuts.
not know that.
But we know that you don't
I
fart
do
at
not
all.
do that.
Yeah, girls don't poop.
Right. And
No,
I
none of us do. That's
not
part of
fart.
working here.
Right.
None of us fart.
I could not work here because
And then, of course,
Just
we
in case
have
you guys
our
needed that.
Fancy pants and
remote
collars.
controlled collars. Mini Educator. This is the collar we use to train your dog. This is the collar I will always recommend. You can buy a cheap collar, but I promise you will regret it. I've used cheaper collars before because I don't rely on an e-collar, but a lot of people do rely on an e-collar, and you want to have something that you can use for a long time. You want to have something that works always in the moment you press a button. You want to...
Not a delay.
you want to have a collar that goes from a very, very, very low stimulation to a pretty high stimulation on different settings. You want to have a collar that has a good customer service. And this is a professional grade collar for under $200,
Which is awesome.
Right. There's collars out there that are $800-$900, and they do almost the same thing. Yeah. I mean, they have fancy things like a nightlight function, which is awesome. I do walk my dogs at night.
Those. I've been using those in the yard because
this way
getting
cars
so
see you.
recently.
So even if you walk on a leash, a car will see that there's something. This is really cool. It works on, I think, 500 yards or 1,000. No, 500.
Half a mile.
Half a mile, right? So they have a pretty far reach. I mean, if you're not a hunting dog trainer, you shouldn't let your dog go for a mile. But then you need a special collar, maybe from Sport Dog. They make hound collars that are for up to 2 miles. But that's for hounds that go hunting on their own. So you can communicate on distance. But they have a nice vibration, or you can have a nice beep on them. And then they're not shock collars like you see what people always talk about. cheap collars, in my opinion, are shock collars.
Yes.
They hurt. And they hurt on a 1, and they also hurt on 100. It doesn't really matter.
Those ones usually also, like, if someone brings them in and we're testing it out, you press the stimulation, you can hear it.
You can hear the cheap
And that's
collars.
the part that freaks me out. Like, I don't want to
hear
test
the
those cheap
electricity
ones.
sizzling through.
Yeah, I don't want to test a cheap one on my skin. That one, I will hold in my hand all day.
And then-
I'm the one that actually does test them on your skin, and I'm the one that comes out and I'm like, I get a different
color's not
color.
great.
I think the worst thing to me is that they're so time delayed.
Yes.
Like usually the vibration
There's
is like
one specific
There's
one that
it's
we've
that
had
long,
clients bring
skinny
in.
remote.
Yeah.
There's
like a 5
3 to
second
5
delay.
second delay.
Yeah.
So
It's
you can be
insane.
holding the button, not getting a response from your dog because nothing's happening on the end of the collar.
so if you do get an e-collar,
It's worth it to spend your money.
right. And the cool thing
Seriously.
is, I mean, we just had
Seriously.
2 remotes break on these. I called customer service and they sent me new remotes.
I
Then
accidentally washed my remote in the washing machine and it still works.
right, they're
perfectly.
waterproof.
Yeah. I think it's
we've
a
dropped
fantastic
these
collar.
remotes a million times,
Which
and
is
they're
probably
still
why
good.
they're broken.
I mean, we use them every single day, and
They're
I
still
mean,
hanging on.
the stimulation, the shock feels like a tap on the light setting, like a
Like a TENS unit.
I can't feel this thing on a 12 or start to maybe feel it.
Yeah, it's
and
about where I'm at.
most dogs respond at an 8 to 10, which is great. I mean, there's dogs that don't care about a 50 or 60, but those are usually dogs that,
Higher
have
drive,
Yeah.
higher, you
Right.
know.
And it also depends, if you would use this on 80 on a dog hunting dog that's in the middle of hunting, you probably wouldn't need a high stimulation like that, even though you would maybe just need a beep or a really low stimulation when the dog is
In your living room.
in your living room, right?
The nice thing about Mini Educator, the brand also, you can change out the tips.
Yes.
They have hypoallergenic tips that are made of titanium
They have
instead
feathers.
of the metal.
They have
They
safety.
have very long ones for
contact
dogs like
points
Great
like this.
Pyrenees with really, really thick coats. They have really short ones for dogs like boxers.
And they even have
Frenchies.
options that you can add things to your collar if you do want to end up doing more competition obedience, where they
finger kicks.
where you have a finger thing where you just tap the stem on your finger with your finger, or you have more contact points around, things like that. So it's
really
a
versatile
great
collar. Yes.
And if you end up, I don't know, not needing the collar in 2 years down the road,
you can still sell it.
you're probably going to sell this for more than half the original cost still. So you're would get your money back.
Although,
Yeah,
I
highly,
mean,
highly
my
recommend
dogs
them.
are seniors and they still wear collars almost every single
But
day.
remember, you cannot just buy an e-collar and throw it on your dog and it works. So
Please don't do that.
Don't do that. And we get dogs sometimes here where people have used an e-collar before and they
they
have
messed
used it wrong, and then we have to go
And fix
completely
it.
back and we have to fix it, and it's a lot harder to fix a dog to like an e-collar again if they're already ruined by it, or if they're desensitized to it and they only work on high numbers, or they, I don't know, they just don't have a good relationship with the collar. So there's tons of videos out there. There's tons of things you can research if you don't
Resources,
want to
yeah.
get a trainer and you want to use an e-collar. But one thing you can never skip is the training you actually have to put in before you use any tool. I mean, you have to, you see when you put a collar on a brand new puppy that maybe never had a collar before, they're going to be scratching that thing, and you want to make it something positive.
Well, and that's why usually when dogs come in for training, we go ahead and we put e-collars on them, and we may not use an e-collar
Yeah, it
on
just
them
sits
for
there.
days,
Yeah.
but it's getting them used to
The
Right.
feeling
the
and the
feeling of
sensation.
having something sitting there.
We also want to make sure that a dog. So when I want to, Schatz, can you give me the collars I use for my dogs? So
the sport dogs?
I use a different brand simply because I can put 3 on one remote. There is ones here where you can do the same thing, but
They're way too complicated for me.
right. This one I have is really easy. I don't really need to use mine a whole lot, but that's a sport dog brand. I feel like they're more made for hunting breeds. because they have less
I
options
think that
on
they
it.
do
They're
sell them
really
at
good
like
collars, too.
Academy and stuff like that, though. So you
Yeah,
will
they
see
have
like,
them.
yeah.
Right.
Outdoor stores.
But see,
everywhere.
if I got Lila, come here. So when I get these collars out, my dog comes running with her tail wagging.
Good girl.
And I don't know if you can see that,
You
Lila.
can't see her, but
Come here,
she's
Lila. Up. Good girl. So see, I can put this on. She's not gonna, and she rarely gets one, but she knows what
Even
it means.
TT just came running
Rosalie
over.
just came running because the dogs aren't afraid of it. Okay, and that's because we put them on a lot of times. We don't use them. It just becomes a normal thing to put a collar on. So if your dog starts being afraid of the collar, it's probably because you only use it when your dog has done something bad. So you want to make sure you put these collars on at the beginning without using it, just so that it becomes something normal to them. So if they're scared of it, it's because something has gone wrong
Right, handler error.
in the training part.
Oh,
Of
excuse
course,
me.
You always have very sensitive dogs that. But most of the times, I mean, if we have dogs, and we've had that not too long ago, where an owner had used it so much before that the dog was already didn't have a good relationship with the collar, and by the time she left, she still didn't have a great relationship with the collar. But then that's just something.
Or we have dogs that are
kinda have
really
to work through.
desensitized to them, which makes it a lot harder to train them.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have a dog that's fearful of it, that's when you have to sit there and then you have to introduce them to the collar. Like, hey, this is a good thing. Here, touch
Yeah,
it.
which can
Right,
take
touch it.
so,
It's a treat. Every time you
so
see
much
it,
Put
something
it
longer.
on.
great
It's
happens.
a treat. Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, it takes us a long time to rebuild that relationship with the collar.
Good girl.
That's what she's getting at.
That's a good girl.
I mean, I use a different brand than both of those, and my dogs
Right, and that's-
absolutely love them.
There's
One-
great ones
Yeah.
out there, but yours is just
Oh,
fact is that the mini educator is probably the
fantastic
best e-collar you can
Yes.
get out there
for the price.
price.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, again, I also like the sport dog, but I don't like it as far. I like
It
the
doesn't have
sport
as
dog.
many settings.
I like the sport dog if your dog's already trained.
Yes.
Because
It's a little bit harsher.
it's a little easier to use, but I usually use 1 or 2 settings on my dog, so I don't need everything that I need
Right.
with a dog that's still learning. Another thing we use,
It's a baby one,
and it's a
but
baby one, yeah. So we use
the K&H.
well, I mean, I don't really care. Just what brand
we like
it
this
is,
brand
yeah.
because, like, that green cot that we have,
but
the
I
devil
also-
cot,
Right, there's
the
some
legs
where
stick out.
the legs
I
stick
trip
out.
over
They're
those.
just they're not good.
Not as good.
But I do like the ones that we have in the climb
climber,
room,
yeah.
with the
V-
feet are
V-hoo.
different.
Yeah.
or something.
So what I hate about these is we should maybe glue them on. We use the shit out of these things.
These.
So.
I don't
Yeah,
like
so
those.
they break
Yeah.
after a while, which is not
we
great if you have
use
hardwood
those
floors.
and wash them so often,
Yeah.
though. So
yeah,
your regular one at home should.
right.
Be
And
better,
I pulled these feet from this bed off from one that we use all the time, so that's why this one doesn't have one. But why? And a lot of people ask us that, why do we use a raised cot versus a regular dog bed? The reason is because first of all, dogs like them. Second of all, your Roomba can go under it and vacuum, which is great.
That's a great logical reason.
Right?
Yes.
And then it's just a lot easier for training. It's easier
It's a
for the
visual.
dog to stay on this. With a regular bed, when you first start training, they can be half off and half still on, so you can't really correct that because that can get confusing to them why they get corrected, even though they're still half on. With this, they're either on or off.
Yeah,
You can
it's a
play-
visual. It's like when you do addition in school and they have the little cube things and they're like, here,
Yeah.
add 3, take away 4, or whatever.
But that's why we use them, and that's why we recommend them. My dogs have different kinds of beds. They do like these. My dogs have a little padding on it because they're short-haired dogs, and
You can get different
I
covers,
just
different
like to
colors.
spend a lot
I
of
throw
money
a
on
blanket
my
online
dogs.
at home.
Right. But
Darius loves
um,
his.
is it absolutely necessary to have these? No, not at all. But it's just I think
It's
it's
a tool
a
we use that's helpful to us.
Yeah,
right.
and
It
it's
wo-
going to
it
be an
makes your
easier
thing-
transition too.
It makes your life easier, and we like tools that will set you up for success at home. So
we use them here, so they're going to see it at home and be like, oh, cool, that's what I was trained on.
Right,
So that's why
TT?
we like them.
But yeah, so that's pretty much all the tools. I mean, not only that we use, but the tools that we had handy. There's tons more tools out there. But most
These
important
are
thing,
our most regularly used tools.
before you use any
Some of
tool,
them.
do your
Most- yeah,
research,
some.
put in the training, make sure you use them correctly, you don't overuse them, and you know why you're using these tools, and stop using them if they don't work. If your dog still pulls you on something, it obviously doesn't work, so
Maybe contact
put
a
in
trainer.
more training.
Yeah.
And if your dog pulls you, even though you use the right training tools, they're probably because they're not fitted correctly, or that you're not marking it correctly somewhere. So still contact a trainer. I mean, even if you put in all the work, if something isn't working 100%,
Okay,
sometimes
I'd like to
it's
show
just-
everyone the best training tool. It's these right here.
us.
Trainers.
These trainers.
Trainers are the best training tools.
She's like, what?
She's like, what's happening?
Yeah, I thought you
Us.
meant our boobs or
No.
something. These
No,
right
it is
here.
right here.
Us.
Like,
I like
We
it.
are
She
the
specifically
trainers.
pointed at us.
Yeah, so there's tons of tools out there. If you have any questions about any tools, and I know we probably have people that say, oh no, my dog walks great on a harness.
Or, oh my gosh,
Good
why
for
do you use that?
Good
That's
for you that they
terrible.
walk great on a harness. I hope it
That's
always
yours.
stays that way. But unfortunately, that's not the case for most
Yes.
people. And maybe, yeah, maybe you just don't. You and me have different opinions on what's great walking on something.
God, we went over a lot of stuff.
We did.
We did. It's already 6:15.
Yeah,
know,
that was
that's
a
what I was
long
like, oh,
podcast. Thanks for anyone who actually stuck around.
Oh, on the boot camp page, I started a post that says a glow up. So show us pictures of your dogs, please.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did. Please.
Finally,
I
yes.
did,
If your dog was
because-
with us as a puppy, please
Yes.
post updates.
I
because
posted
we
pictures
wanna
of
know
mine.
What they look like.
As
And
cats.
for everyone whose dogs are currently here that are part of our exclusive group, we've tried to make things a little easier by putting 2 albums now. We have 1 album for the
Just
videos that we're
videos.
posting, and then 1 just for the pictures. So, you know,
A little less
especially
scrolling.
right, because towards the end of the month we always have like
500, yeah.
different things in there, so it's sometimes hard to find your dog. But yeah, so
We're trying.
all right,
We
send us ideas for next week's podcast, which
Yeah.
we again should say at the beginning
I
so
know.
that we actually have
I
people
know.
still watching.
We'll
Maybe we
figure
start
this
a
out. We'll get it
poll or
right one
something.
day.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe we just talk about something.
What?
What?
No, say one day.
One
Oh,
day we'll
yeah,
get it
one
right.
day. For
One
sure.
day. I think we did great. You guys did great.
Oh.
Great trainers.
You did good. Shoot.
Great trainers.
We all need a little bit of love sometimes.
Yeah.
Show me some love, dang it.
Somebody give
Right,
Audrey a
this is-
shout
Somebody
out.
give me a shout out. I am Audrey.
Yeah, we always get a thanks to Melissa and Grace because
Amanda even got a shout out. Where am I at? Where am I at?
right. So Audrey is one of the great trainers here that works and puts in a lot of work with your dogs. So give her a shout out.
Please.
She's great.
Just
She's awesome.
just one. That's all I'm asking
just
for.
one.
Yeah, though you see Melissa and Audrey is doing a lot of work.
In the
Behind the
background.
scenes.
Yep, in the background.
I mean, you
AKA our muscle.
too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm here for. I do the
Yeah,
tough
we're
stuff.
both so short. Yeah, you get
I
that.
should stand out. I mean, like, I'm taller than you. I look different. Well, blonde.
Okay,
blonde.
someone one time though said that Melissa and I looked like twins,
Yeah,
and I was
that's
like,
true.
huh?
That's true.
I don't.
Oh,
Thank
but-
you.
Yeah, I feel like people sometimes just say stuff like that. I mean, so
to make us feel better.
my sister and me, when the kids Isaiah
what
and
you wanted?
Elias were babies, I was carrying Isaiah in a carrier, and my sister was carrying Elias,
Oh,
who looked completely
gosh.
different.
Oh.
Isaiah had long black hair, Elias had no hair. And then a
Are they
lady
twins?
comes out of a store. We're walking down the road, and she's like, "Oh, hold on," and turns around and said, "Are you guys twins?" Me and my sister go, "No, it's just sisters." Oh, and continues walking. Then she's like, "Hold on again. Are the kids twins?"
Oh my gosh.
We're like,
What's your obsession with twins?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
calm
like-
down.
No.
So weird.
I've also been asked if my kids were triplets when one was 3,
Ah,
1.5,
yeah.
and a newborn.
Love that.
It's like,
Makes sense.
People are
yes,
cool.
it's just holding
Makes
one in a
sense.
little bit.
Audrey's also the best wife in the world, according to Jeremiah. I don't know how many wives he
Remains-
has, but she's the
Remains
best one.
to be seen.
And she is his absolute favorite dog trainer.
Yeah.
Sorry, shots.
What?
I know.
No, I feel like
Offended.
He's right.
Biased, okay?
He's
I
biased.
think
Thank
he's
you.
lying. I
Huge,
think
huge
he's
shout out to my
lying.
supportive husband, though, because he really is great. He supports me in everything that I do.
He also
so.
helps us out
Yes.
around here a lot.
Right.
He is awesome. Love him to death.
Yeah.
Me
Gonna
too.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
So.
Thank you for tuning
it's
in.
late. Yeah, sorry it took so long.
Yeah.
We talk a lot. I know.
Make
Gotta go
sure-
It's
get
because we
dogs
didn't
out.
hang out today.
That's true.
Yeah,
We did.
make sure to follow Melissa's Happy Dogs. Right?
Hit him with it. Hit him
Facebook,
with it.
Instagram, TikTok, and a newly minted Twitter account today.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
What?
we're gonna start being active there.
Oh, can I like post like fun stuff like
yeah. Twitter's for all
like
the fun
wise
things. That's where
words
like
of the day?
Yeah.
that's where like Wendy's bashes on people. I love that place. Twitter's great.
We should have one fun account like that where we kind of
Twitter's
like
great.
I think our TikTok should be fun.
We only
Fun.
rate dogs on Melissa's Happy Dogs on Twitter.
I mean we do have some fun content like of
Do we?
Sishka who that's it.
We're
and
fun?
The first instinct
We're
was
fun. Yes, we are fun.
yes, we are.
We're all hopped up
According
on
to-
caffeine.
According to Dally's owner, we have too much fun.
Yeah, apparently.
But all right.
Yeah. See
We'll
you next
guys.
time.
See you next week.
Bye, guys.
I don't know.
Okay, bye. How do we
Okay,
turn it
love
off?
you.
Oh, there it goes. Me with technology. What does it do?
That's great.